All right, well, new information this morning about the Jordan Davis case. Of course, he was the teenager shot and killed at a Jacksonville gas station, allegedly over loud music. We're joined this morning by his family's attorney, John Phillips. And John, we understand there was a big development in taking this case into the federal law spotlight here yesterday when you guys filed an amicus brief. What is that?
It is. Amicus, essentially an amicus brief means friend of the court.
Okay.
And anytime you get a situation where you've got a third party that has an interest in the outcome of another case, then you can file an amicus brief with permission from the court. And so there's been a controversial decision in the Illinois courts, and the Martin family and Jordan Davis's family and the Brady Center have all teamed together to file this amicus brief asking for review of that decision.
So folks at home understand the Brady Center often takes on the NRA, and they're really trying to fight here for some stricter gun laws, which is why they're pulling both Jordan Davis's family in as well as Trayvon Martin's family in. But talk to us about the bigger ramifications of what this means in terms of gun control and what's happened here in Florida with these two teens' deaths.
Well, the issue has become a bit of a states' rights versus federal rights. The federal law is pretty clear that the whole stand your ground wasn't supposed to go in the direction that it did. But state rights are allowed to usurp federal law. And so Illinois had a absolute barring of concealed weapons out in public, which was overturned by a 3-judge panel. The main reason for the appeal is that should be done by the legislature, should be done by a 7-judge panel. You can't just have these a 2-to-1 decision reversing a major law. And it's the same thing all over the United States. One's coming in California at the end of the month. You can't attack this just with a civil verdict or a criminal verdict of Michael Dunn. What we have is an epidemic, and no matter what your side of the gun control issue is, laws are made and justice must happen in a proper fashion.
And Vice President Joe Biden is meeting today with some victims' families affected by, gun crimes. And tomorrow he will meet with the NRA. We know that the president has tasked him with trying to come up with some policy changes here when it comes to gun rights here in America. And I understand Jordan Davis's family is also headed back to D.C. here soon.
Correct. I think we're going to go next week. There's a hearing on Capitol Hill on the 17th. There's been some mention of them testifying for that. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But yeah, we're going up to D.C., meet with some congressional leaders, and just, find reasonable measures. What is it? Is it, we have to have auto insurance if we're going to drive a car. Is it having some form of insurance for gun owners? What is a reasonable measure to try to prevent, the situations like in Connecticut and with the Davis family?
And what you're saying is with this brief, it really is proving that it's going to go much farther than the criminal trial against Michael Dunn. We're looking at possible federal ramifications.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, there's just been, and the NRA has such power behind it, and people aren't afraid to come out and sponsor and go, take on the side of the NRA. You don't see a lot of that on the other side. Mm-hmm. And it's, I think the majority of the country, 60%, 70% of the country, really is looking for a middle ground here. They really are concerned about what's going on. And so if you look at that, let's see if we can reasonably have a discussion and find solutions that are done with justice.
All right, John Phillips representing the Davis family. We'll stay in touch with you here next week as y'all head to D.C. And thanks so much for breaking that down with all of us here this morning.
My pleasure.
All right, at 7:50, we're going to toss it over to Tom Johnston in the First Alert Weather Center.